Hey guys, so here's our assignment for today. So we're just going to be basically doing what we've been doing for the past couple days. So on this assignment, I'm just going to put a dot so you can see we are doing a verbal description. Okay, we are writing our new transformation rule, so that's our coordinates. And then we're actually going to graph the transform function, okay? So here, we're going to make coordinates. Okay, and then we're going to change the graph. So I am going to zoom in a little bit so you can easier see the graph changing, okay? So for the first one, right, we see, and remember, I am actually going to write, before we start anything, I'm going to write the 8 different things that we can see, right? So we can see right by a number, left by a number, up by a number, down by a number. We can see a reflection over the X, reflection over the Y, and then we have a vertical stretch by a number and a vertical shrink by a number. Okay? So what we want to do is we're going to use these 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when we do a when we do a verbal description, you're going to use these, okay? So we want those, it has to say one of these 8, okay? It may say more, it may say 1, it may say 3, whatever it may be. So we're going to go ahead and do the first one. Okay, so I am looking for every number that I see. So in this case, I see a -5 inside, okay, inside my grouping symbol or my parentheses. So that's important. So we know that when we go inside, so I'm going to note here so you guys can see, inside, we go left and right, okay? So we move left and we move right. So I need to know that when I see something inside, I'm either going to write right or left. So inside, we see a -5, okay? So we think that we're going to go left. But remember, when we're inside the grouping symbol or inside our original function, we need to do the opposite. So I may see -5, okay, which I think left, but I really need to know that it's right 5, okay? And here, I know that when I'm inside, it affects my X, okay? So now that I only have one number here, okay? So I have my verbal description down, and that's right by 5. So now that I have that, I want to write my new order transformation pair rule. Okay, so here we said that this right 5 is affecting my X. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do my 2 coordinates, okay? And I know that with X, I need to go right 5. So when I think of right, I think of positive. So if you note here, you could see the difference that even though we see X -5, when we write a coordinate pair, it's X plus 5. So it's the opposite. Okay, and then we see no other transformation here, so my Y stays as Y. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write my parent function points, and then my transformed points, okay? So I need to pick out my points. So my first point is I'm going to go left from right. So -3, 4. And then I'm at -1, 0. And then I'm at 1, 1. And then I am at 3, -2. Okay? So these are my original parent function points. So those are the points that I plotted, that are already plotted. Okay? I just named them. Then what I want to do is I want to come up with my new transformed points. And what I need to do is we said here that the rule was X plus 5, okay? So every point, I need to add 5 to the X value. So this first one, -3 plus 5 becomes 2, 4. -1 plus 5 becomes 4, 0. Notice my Y's are staying the same because my Y is not being transformed, okay? Then I come to 1, 1, and 1 plus 5 is 6, 1. And then I have 8, negative 2. So all I did was x plus 5. So I added 5 to every x value. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plot those points. So I'm going to plot 2, 4. And then I'm going to plot 4, 0. And then 6, 1. And then 8, negative 2. Sorry, I didn't mean to click that little right there. Okay. And then I could go ahead and draw my line. Okay. So with these, we want to draw our lines. So we can see that we just we added 5 to each. Oops. I did wrong. The first one wrong. My bad, guys. See, you will catch yourself. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do it over. You'll catch yourself. 2, 4. There we go. And then 4, 0. 6, 1, 8, negative 2. Okay? So that's how you're going to do these. I'm going to do one more with you, okay? So I'm going to scroll up, and we're going to do this one together, okay? So first thing I want to do is I want to look at my numbers. I always want to look at my addition and subtraction first. I never want to look at my multiplication, okay? So the first number I'm going to look at is this negative 1. Now, we see here that this negative 1, okay, is outside of the parentheses. Outside. Okay, so I'm going to note to myself, outside. And I know that outside affects up and down. But I also know that when I'm talking about my outside, it equals my y value. So it's affecting my y value. Now remember, when we are outside, we are up and down, and we follow the sign exactly. Okay? So we follow the sign exactly. So here I see a negative 1, so I'm going to follow that exactly because it's outside, and I realize that it's down 1. Okay? So I see my negative. Outside is up and down, so I know that negative is down, so I am down 1. Okay? But here, I'm also going to write this down here so you have it. Okay, so inside is left and right. And we are left and right, and you are doing the opposite of what the sign says. Okay? So if it's a negative, you're really adding. If it's a positive, you're going to subtract. Okay, but on this problem, you also see we have a 2 here that's being multiplied. Okay, so that's important to realize. Now, this is multiplication. So I know when I come over here that it cannot be the first 4. Okay, I know that it can't be these because those are all addition and subtraction. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and erase that. So that's not there. Okay, and I know that this is just a negative. We multiply by a negative, and so is this, okay? We're really multiplying by a negative 1 on both of those. But what's important to remember is that this multiplies by a whole number, and this is a fraction, okay? So that's important to realize. So here, you realize that this negative 2 is being it's a whole number. So our whole function is being multiplied by a whole number. Okay, this is on your PowerPoint, so remember to go back to it. So I know that it's going to be a vertical stretch. Okay, and it's by the number that's being multiplied. So it's by 2. Okay, so that's important to realize. And this also affects my y. Okay, also affects my y. That's important to realize. Okay, so here we know that there is nothing being affected. My x is not being affected because both affect my y. Okay, so we could see that there. So now we're going to go ahead and write our coordinate pair. Okay, so we just said that my x is not affected, but now we have 2 things affecting my y. So I have down 1 and I need to multiply by 2. okay? So that's important to realize. So how we would write this is we would write 2y, because we're multiplying 2 by y, but we can't forget to subtract 1, okay? So that is our new ordered pair. That's our new transformation rule, okay? So same thing. I think it's the same exact points. Yep, so they're the same points, so my parent function stays the same. So I'm going to go ahead and copy those down again. So -3, 4, -1, 0, 1, 1, and 3, -2. Okay, so those are the same points from up here. It's the same exact graph. Okay, so now we need to realize, I'm going to go to my transformation, and I am going to leave all of my x's alone because my x's are not being affected. So I'm going to go ahead and leave all my x's alone. Okay, but now we need to plug in our y values into here. Okay, so I'm going to write that over here so we can remember 2y minus 1. So for every y value, we are going to plug it in for y. So for the first one, my y value is 4, okay? So I'm going to go 2 times 4 minus 1, and that gives me 7. So my new y value is 7. And you're going to do the same thing for each of those. So if we plug in 2 times 0 minus 1, it becomes -1, okay? Then I'm going to plug in 1. Okay, now I'm on 1. 2 times 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1. Then for my last one, I'm going to plug in -2. So 2 times -2 is -4, and minus 1 becomes -5. Okay, so then you're going to go ahead and graph those points. So I need to go to 3, -3, 7. Okay, and then I'm going to go to -1, -1, sorry, I'm very tiny, 1, 1, so it stays on that point, okay, and then 3, -5, okay, so here is my new graph. So that's exactly what you're going to do for each of these, okay, so use this video, it's going to help you, okay, it will make your activity much easier, and I already gave you the 8 verbal descriptions that we are going to use, okay.